All right, welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We're diving into something pretty big today, personal development.
Yeah, personal development. It's one of those things, right? Kind of a big overarching topic, and to be honest, can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. When you hear personal development, it's like, where do you even start? It's your whole self.
Right. It's like, am I supposed to change like everything about myself all at once? And I think that's where people get kind of frozen.
Absolutely. It's like staring at a mountain, like, how am I going to climb this whole thing?
Exactly.
So maybe we can break it down a bit. What are we even looking at when we say personal development? What's the goal here?
Okay, so we looked at a bunch of different sources this week, articles, books, the usual stuff. And one thing that came up again and again was this idea of targeted growth. Like, not trying to be good at everything, but picking something, one specific thing, and really focusing on that.
Okay, so not like, I don't know, not like trying to learn guitar and speak Italian and run a marathon all at the same time.
Right. Pick one and really go deep. It's like, imagine you're a gardener, right?
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
So you could try to grow, every kind of plant under the sun, but chances are you're not going to be amazing at all of them.
You're going to have some very sad-looking plants.
Exactly. But if you focus on one thing, let's say, I don't know, roses, you learn everything about roses. The soil, the sun, the pruning, everything. You become the rose expert.
So you're saying instead of being a jack of all trades, be a master of one.
Yeah. Or at least start with one. And like, you wouldn't expect to, plant a rose bush and have it be perfect overnight, right?
Right. There's the whole stop and smell the roses thing.
Haha. Well, there's that. But there's also, like, you have to nurture it. You have to be patient. You have to put in the work. And eventually you'll have these amazing, beautiful roses.
So how do we do that with, I don't know, let's say a skill we want to learn or a bad habit we want to break? Like, what are the steps?
Okay, so one thing that came up a lot was this thing called micro goals.
Micro goals.
Yeah. So let's say your big goal is to, I don't know, be a better public speaker.
Okay, scary stuff.
Right. But instead of like freaking out about giving a TED Talk, you break it down. Tiny steps, micro goals. So today, maybe your goal is just to like practice making eye contact for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. So little tiny things you can do every day.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can do that tiny thing today and tomorrow and the day after that, suddenly you're making eye contact like a champ.
Okay, so it's less intimidating, more manageable. But is there a risk of getting kind of lost in the micro goals, like never actually reaching the big goal?
That's a good point. And that's why it's important to make sure your micro goals are actually aligned with your big goal.
Or stepping stone.
Leading you to the top of the mountain.
Right. Like you got to check your map every so often to make sure you're still going the right way.
Exactly. And remember, it's not a race. Personal development, it's a journey. It's ongoing.
Yeah, you're always growing, always learning. Which actually reminds me of another thing I read, this growth mindset thing. What is that all about?
Oh, yeah. The growth mindset. That's huge. Basically, it's the belief that you're not stuck with the abilities you have now. You can always learn, always improve.
So it's like instead of saying I'm bad at math, you say
I'm not good at math yet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about believing you can change.
Right. And that little shift, it changes everything. Because if you believe you can get better, you're more likely to, put in the work, try new things, not give up when things get tough.
So how do we cultivate this growth mindset? How do we actually start thinking that way?
Well, the articles had some good tips. One is to focus on the process, not just the outcome. So like enjoy the journey. Enjoy learning something new, even if you're not perfect at it yet.
So it's like enjoying the climb, not just getting to the top of the mountain.
Exactly. And then another tip was to pay attention to your self-talk. Like, what are you saying to yourself?
Oh, like am I being too hard on myself?
Yeah. So instead of beating yourself up for mistakes, try to learn from them. Be kind to yourself.
So it's like turning those setbacks into stepping stones.
Exactly. And then the last thing I wanted to say about the growth mindset is it's different for everyone.
Okay, how so?
Like, what works for me to learn a new skill might be totally different from what works for you.
Right. So it's not one size fits all.
Exactly. So it's about finding what works for you, what feels right, what fits with your goals.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into personal development, what's the one big thing you want our listeners to take away?
I think the most important thing is don't be afraid to start. Don't be intimidated by the big picture. Pick one thing, one small step, and start there.
And remember, it's a journey. So think about what you want to work on. What excites you? What would you like to get better at? And what's one tiny thing you can do today to start moving in that direction? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into personal development.
Thanks, everyone.